Okay, evening everybody. Welcome to our Monday night presentation. For those who don't know me, my name is Merle Westcott. I live in Durban, South Africa, and I'm a Senior Presidential Director in LifeWave. I joined LifeWave in December 2022, and I was never going to work it as a business. I was interested in the product, and I wanted it for myself and my husband. But when I saw the results and I patched a couple of friends and saw what happened there was no ways that I couldn't share. And the result is everybody who's on this call this evening, which is a tiny call, but that's great. We're going to go through it quite quickly. I was going to hand over to Mich to introduce herself, and then she's going to do the product part of the presentation, but I think she's probably got a dog issue. There we go, she's back.
And unmuted.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Michelle Seagreen. I'm a chiropractor from Durban North in Durban, obviously. And I've been on the LifeWave journey for over a year now. I've loved the whole journey so far, and I'm so excited to share my story with you today, along with how the product goes. I think we'll just dive straight into it, because I like to talk about my stories while I go through the presentation.
Which is perfect. All right, I'm starting to share.
Thank you, Mel. So the question we always ask is, have you been patched yet? Because this is the most amazing journey, as I've said, and it really does elevate, activate, and regenerate. But we cannot go on about our journey without talking about David Schmidt. He is the owner and CEO of the company LifeWave. He's the inventor of X39 and some other products as well. He has over 200 patents now, and he specializes mostly in age reversing at this stage. Now, in around 2008, he started focusing his attention on stem cell research because that was the buzzword at the time. My babies were born just before and around that time, and that was when we were doing the harvesting of stem cells from their umbilical cords. And the recent patent, this X39, took about 10 years and $4.5 million to bring it to the market. The patches are patented. There is one of the law patches. And obviously, as you know, a patent has to be proven. If you say your product does X, you've got to prove that it does X. You can't just say it does X and get a patent. And I love the wording in our patent. It says, as a result of elevating copper peptide, including activation of stem cells, improvements in energy, elevation of antioxidants, reduction in inflammation, management of pain, improvements in stamina, elevation of collagen production, and improved wound healing. I love it because obviously all of that stuff has been proven. So today we're going to talk about this X39 stem cell patch. And why are we talking about it? Is because the older you get, the fewer active stem cells you have. And that is why you heal more slowly. When you're young, you scrape yourself, you pick up and you heal within days. But when you're really old, those wounds can take ages to heal. Because at about 30, you've lost half of your stem cell activity. By age of 60, obviously the way you live your life does play a role, but most of us lose all of our stem cell activity after the age of 60. So how does the X39 work? So in the middle of this little patch, there's like a whitish bit to it. And in that over there, there is a little structure that's created out of tiny little crystals, amino acids, sugars, things like that. And they're at a specific shape. And what they do is they take your own body's light that you emit, so low-level infrared light that you emit, and it reflects it back into your body at a specific wavelength. And that specific wavelength of light then activates chemical pathways that result in increased copper peptide, and that increased copper peptide does amazing things in your body, including activating stem cells that have become dormant. What are those stem cells important for? Those stem cells are going to go and heal age-related damage and other changes that has happened to your body over time. So there's nothing that goes from this patch into your body except for light. So it's non-transdermal. There are no drugs, chemicals, or stimulants in this patch. So it's not going to clash with any medication that you may be on. and it's also non-invasive, no injections and things like that to get the stem cells active again. It's only your own body stem cells that are reactivated. What are the benefits of these increased stem cells and increased copper peptides in your body? Some people feel some of these benefits straight away. Some take time. Some are immediate. Some can take months. But over time, you will have increased strength, mental clarity. That's a big one for me. Today again, I do the books for one of the organizations at my church, and I was entering figures as you do, and I actually could glance once and just enter the figure without any errors happening, and that's a first time for me. Reduced inflammation. I had a tattoo touched up today. It was red and swollen, and it's now gone completely down within a couple of hours. Restored muscle or skeletal conditions. Knee injury has completely healed. Increased stamina, improvement of sleep. I'm dreaming the most delightful dreams. Energy and vitality, and improved skin appearance. I've suffered with eczema most of my life, and my skin is the best it ever has been. So I've really managed to achieve optimal health and a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. And once you do begin to patch, you will start to feel these effects. Just remembering that this product is not going to diagnose or treat or cure. It's just going to activate your own body's healing, and your body will then do the rest for you. I love this slide. It is a topography map. So it's an image of someone's brain. The red and orange shows how much information there is on the brain in session 1 before she started patching with X39. And she had a lack of brain coherence. At session 2, after about 3 weeks on X39, there was no more inflammation, and she had improved brain coherence. And then at session 3, after 6 weeks on X39, you can see that the brain still remained calm. There's no hint of red or orange there. And that coherence, that brain, that calm, remained after 6 weeks of wearing the patch. Okay, I've told you what you can expect to see over the shorter term, but what can you expect after a long time wearing the patch? And this is where the real magic happens. At an inner level, you may not see it on the outside, but at an inner level, it starts happening right down at the cellular level with genes that have been triggered that begin to reset. And how do genes trigger? Various things, like sick, illness, toxicity can trigger genes, and that's what results in all of the diseases we have today. So within the first few days, 4,000 genes begin to reset. Then, as you saw on that slide, within 6 weeks, the brain becomes balanced. And within 3 months, your collagen is increased. Now, collagen is great for your skin, your hair, your nails, and all of that, but it is essential for every organ in your body, all the blood vessels in your body, and of course, your skin. So with increased collagen, you're not only going to get rid of the fine lines and wrinkles and things like that, you're also going to get healthier organs. For example, within 6 months, as per case study, the heart reverses in age. And so, as David Schmidt says, this little patch here is not anti-aging, it's age reversing. It actually reverses age-related change in your body. Okay, so how do we wear it? As you can see on the screen, you can pop it behind your neck or you can pop it below your belly button. You wear it for 12 hours during the day. Take it off at night to repair and rejuvenate, and then you throw the patch away, or I stick it on my little Dachshund. She's had back problems, she's had gum disease, and both of those are healing, or should I say her body's healing itself because of the patch. And then the next morning, I put a new patch on me, and tonight or that night, I'll take it off and put it on my Daxi again. There are more than one type of patch in LifeWave, because David Schmidt's been inventing patches for about 20 years. For example, there's one called IceWave, and this is a great pain reliever, and it really works extremely well. So you can take away the pain while you wait for your body to heal. And when you are patching, very, very important, remember to drink a lot of water and take some electrolytes, because you're increasing the activity at a cellular level in your body, and your cells need building blocks to do their job. One of the building blocks is water, and then you need things like magnesium, salts, and things like that. And a good electrolyte will give you all of that. X39 is extremely sophisticated. I mean, who would have thought a little patch could do so much to your body? But it has definitely changed my life. It's changing the life of my little Dachshunds. It's changed the life of my mom. And all of these things are incredibly life-changing, emotional. And I know that we've got Sune, who's had a remarkable week or so. So we'll stop screen sharing. Thank you, Merle. You've already done it. And I don't know, Sine, if you'd like to be the first one to chat.
Yes, yes. I will let you know the most amazing week that I had. So I've now been patching for a week, and I know that we do not expect a one patch wonder, but I have been acutely aware of the reaction of the patch from the minute that I started it. And between when I put it on and take it off, put it on, the whole process over there. So it was the 4 longest days I waited for my patches to be delivered, but it was such a joy when I did. And then I put them on in the morning, and the minute it was on, I felt a zing to my brain. It's like the lights have been switched on. I could feel the distinct difference of not having the patch on and that electric switch being put on. My energy levels have just increased. I used to take Monster, not a lot, but just to kind of help me to get through the day. And as you know, caffeine has a total negative effect on a person. And now, when I had some caffeine earlier on today, my body just like totally stormed me and said, come on, this is poison. And I had quite a negative effect to the caffeine, which I obviously never had before. Then, so my stamina, where my youngest brother walks he walks so fast. I could never keep up to him. And this week we had a little small family reunion together, and I was able to keep up pace. And they both mentioned that, and I was like, "Excellent, bye." I told them about it. They still very skeptical, but when the time is right, they will see it. That's just some of the things that have physically happened on my side. Then, when it comes to my fur baby, Bubbles has got the tear stain. And so the big thing was to see if it's going to help, because I did some research as to what causes the tear stains. And it's inflammation in the tear ducts then that causes the backflow, which then causes the brown marks on him. And that is diminished. So the brown marks are obviously, they state that, as we groom him, etc., that will then disappear. But the extreme teary and wet eyes, that is gone. And that's been in a week. So he does not have that anymore. When he was probably a couple of months ago, he's just about a year old now. He and my pit bull lab were running around here on the bed, and he fell off and he hurt his leg. But it's obviously a nerve or something that he really hurt. And with the patch, now I can touch him and he doesn't growl at me. And I can see that in a week there has been an amazing change from where he wouldn't even tolerate my hand coming close to his leg or the back, his back part of his back. So yes, I can just tell you all of things that happened, but I don't want to take up too much time. But to me, it's just been an incredible journey, and I journalize that every day because I can feel the noticeable difference, and I can see the noticeable difference in my fur babies as well.
Oh, thank you, Sine. And we can't wait to hear how your journey progresses. And it's so incredible when you see results with animals, because when you see the
Yes,
animals healing, you know that there's no ways that it's a placebo. My Great Dane
yes,
made some poor life choices. He had a tumor cut out of his foot just before we went to Dubrovnik and to America on a LifeWave trip at the beginning of May. And the night before he was meant to have his stitches out, it was healing beautifully, and we'd left. We left on the 4th. His stitches were meant to come out on the 12th. The night before they were meant to come out, he ate through the stitches and the 2 layers underneath. I think he was bored. Anyway, it's terrible. Into the vet the next day, they did more surgery. He went through those stitches. He then went to the dog sitter. Now, being a Great Dane, they can't put collars on them because they can reach their feet in any case. Doesn't help. So he went to the dog sitter, was very good at the dog sitter, but when we got home, which was the end of the month, they put a lighter dressing on that Friday. The Saturday morning, he managed to get it off, and it looked terrible. It was huge. They were worried about how long it was going to take to heal. They were actually doing laser on it because our vets have a laser, and like humans have laser, so light therapy, they do it on dogs. And we always have to laugh because on dogs, they wear goggles, because humans have to wear human glasses. The dogs have goggles, so they have these goggles for the laser. And but I started patching him that Saturday, and within a week, although he had laser like on the Tuesday, I started patching him Saturday, had laser the Tuesday. The following week, they could not believe the healing. And if you look at it now, they were thinking it was going to take months because this thing had to close by itself. They couldn't stitch it again. And it's tiny. It's gone from a thing that was this big to a thing that's about this big. He's not licking it. He's not anything. And that's just from patching. I did a few new patches and then just my normal secondhand patches. So I had incredible results with him. So I'll talk about the dog tonight and not my story or my husband's, because most people have heard those. But I'm going to hand over to Jenny because I think there might be people who haven't heard Jenny's story.
Okay, so I have had osteoporosis for 4 or 5 years, and I'd been patching just with the X39 for 8 months when I went for my bone density. And I was hoping, but I wasn't sure. But I have now reversed to osteopenia, which means that my bones are getting better. And that to me is amazing, to be able to give people hope when the medical profession says, there's not much we can do. We can give you injections, we can do drips, but the side effects are awful. And they're not really going to fix the problem, whereas the stem cells have gone to the cause of the problem and are busy sorting it out. So much so that, in fact, my endocrinologist said, I'll see you in 2 years' time, not every year. So she must be pretty impressed to be able to say that. So if I didn't have to pay for it myself, I would be curious to have another test in a year's time just to see. But they're so expensive that I'll wait for 2 years and then I'll see.
And you'll
And
surprise
I'm sure
me.
by then. Yes, because she tends to be quite negative. Nothing is great, she always finds fault with everything. So I would love to be able just to surprise her. Yeah. So my spine and my left hip was so sore that I would walk up the stairs like a crab, because walking normally there's too much jolt and too much pain. And now I literally can walk dogs without worrying about where I'm stepping, or stepping skew or hard, or running. It's great. New lease on life. And I think we said maybe old, but I'm getting younger.
Absolutely. You're going
Yeah,
backwards in a
this is
really good
most
way.
amazing. Yeah, this doesn't seem possible, but it is. It definitely is.
It's so exciting, Jenny. Thank you.
It
Okay,
is.
let's
Thank
get back
you.
into the presentation.
Okay, guys, so take a note of the screen, take a photo of it if you'd like to. This is at info.com. It's an amazing resource. I did a deep dive in this when I started. On your homepage, there are 4 videos, all of them worth a watch, none of them very long at all. There's a doctor's panel. There's another doctor explaining how it works. David Spitz himself talking to healthcare professionals. There are some testimonials, as well as the patent is there, and some of the science, some of the case studies that have been done. So really great resource. Okay, guys, over to Merle.
Thanks so much, Mich. So when I joined LifeWave, there wasn't a presentation like this, all I saw was David Schmidt talking to healthcare professionals, and it was a much longer version than the one that is on This Is It Info, but I joined on that. So I have been in healthcare for the last 30 years. I'm a life alignment therapist and teacher, and I'm also a nutritionist. So the product made perfect sense to me, but I said I was never going to network. So when Candice introduced me, I said, that's great. I'll join up. What do you need me to do? But don't expect me to build a business. I'm done with network marketing. Well, I'm not done with network marketing, and LifeWave is the most phenomenal company, and I cannot keep quiet about the product. So in February 2023, when I thought, well, now I'm going to build a business because I'd seen a couple of incredible results, I thought I better have a look at this company to see, how stable we were and how long we've been around. So I realized that this was not a fly-by-night company. We'd been around for a while. And in fact, for the first 15 or 16 years that the company had been in existence, it was mainly healthcare professionals that had used the product in their practices. But then when X39 came to market, anybody could market it. And so X39, as Mich told you, was patented in 2020. And that accelerated the growth of LifeWave. So the exciting thing about us is we're not a Me Too product. Because we are patented technology, nobody can copy what we have. We don't have competition. We now open in over 80 countries. We turned 21 in October this year, so we're a 20-year-old company. In 2021, the company did a $20 million turnover. 2022, the year I joined, I only joined in December, but in that July, Steve and Gina Merritt joined the company. They started This Is a Team, which we all belong to. And what happened when they joined is they put a system together, which we're going to talk about tonight, that means that everybody can duplicate. And this presentation is part of that system. Anybody can plug in and can do what we've done to achieve greatness in the company and hit the top ranks. So in 2022, we did 320 million. In 2023, 430 million. In 2024, we did over 600 million. And we're on track to do over $1 billion this year. And that is just because of X39. Over 90% of the company's sales are X39, although we do have another 10 patches. We also ranked as the #1 momentum company in network marketing in the world at the moment. And this is per businessforhome.org, which is an independent site. So it's not affiliated to any network marketing company, but it assesses all the different companies and lists how well they're doing, how they pay out, how ethical they are, all of those kinds of things. So in 2024, we won the Global Bravo Award as the #1 momentum company. On the right-hand side, you can see Meredith Burkich, our president, receiving the award with some of her corporate team. On the left is that this is a team event put on by Steve and Gina. So Steve and Gina are the couple. He's got a black shirt on, Gina's got a pantsuit. Next to Gina is David Schmidt, our CEO, who is a most incredible man. He is a fountain of knowledge about all kinds of things healing, but he is just absolutely amazing. And I have met him several times in person and spoken to him. As I say, he's incredible. And then obviously Meredith Burkich, who's been with the company a couple of years, and she's on track changing it in huge ways. So this year we won the award again as the #1 momentum company, and there you can see our corporate team, Meredith again in the middle, and in LifeWave, corporate and the field work very closely together. So you can see Steve and Gina are at the event as well. And then this is just a team event. This is the first event that This Is It ever had, and it was called This Is It, and that is where the team name came from. So at this point in the presentation, we always ask, what is the most important thing in your life? Is it your family? What about time? Do you want freedom? Whether it be time freedom or freedom to travel or more security. What about better health or less debt? I joined LifeWave for better health, but I have achieved absolutely everything on that list from LifeWave. So how do we get compensated in LifeWave? I'm going to go over our compensation plan very briefly, because at the moment we get paid 4 ways in LifeWave. But next month, our compensation plan is being enhanced. And the enhancement means that we are now going to be paid 9 ways. And we are all so excited about the enhancement because they're not taking anything away from us. They're actually giving us more. So LifeWave pays out 60 cents on every dollar, and nothing is changing. It's just the way that they are distributing it that is going to change. And it's going to mean that people who come in the beginning, or, who are new to LifeWave, are going to be able to earn faster. And of course, that is very exciting. So how do we get started? If you are on the presentation today and you don't ever want to tell anybody else about LifeWave, but you want the product, that was me when I started, you could sign up as a preferred customer, which means that you will get the wholesale price and not pay retail. So the person who introduced you will benefit from that, but you will get the same price that they get. Now, I didn't sign up that way, and I'm going to tell you in a minute how I did sign up, because I wanted to be able to buy as and when I pleased and not be tied into a monthly order, but you can do that. What we always look at in LifeWave is we build a binary. Binary means two legs. So if you come in and you bring two people in on your left, two people in on your right, you become what's known as a manager. And manager is the most important rank in LifeWave. And we earn off team commissions. That's a commission based on the volume on each leg. Nothing's changing with that. We're still going to earn off team commissions. And those team commissions are capped at $25,000 a week from the binary. And I know many people who max that out every single week. I'm nowhere near there yet, but I personally know people who do that every week. We also have something called a matching bonus, and this has unlimited income potential. And matching bonuses are a reward for helping those people who you bring in under you. So if Mich was my first line, in other words, I had signed her up, every time she got a bonus on the binary, I would get 25% of that bonus. Not of her money, she would get her full bonus, but the company rewards me in saying, Merle, you've done a great job helping Mich. Mich is in fact in my third line, so I do get bonuses off her, but not 25%. I get 20% because matching bonuses are unlimited and they go to 3 levels. So your first, second, and third level, 25, 20, and 20. Now, how do you get started in LifeWave? I always say you come in where you fit in. So when I signed up, I was never going to build a business. So I thought, well, I'm going to come in on core. It's going to cost me $295. I'm going to get 3 sleeves of X39. You can, of course, replace any 1 sleeve of X39 with 2 sleeves of the supplementary patches. So the Ice Wave Mich showed you is a supplementary patch. So is Eon, which is our anti-inflammatory patch. Many of our patches are supplementary patches. But I got 3 X39. I thought 1 for my husband, 1 for me, and then the next month we would use half each until I needed to order again. And then I was going to upgrade, because LifeWave allows you to upgrade, and that means that you can go to the next pack, get the difference in product for the difference in price. So if you upgrade from core to advanced, you pay $235 and you get 3 sleeves of patches. So that's very exciting. But if I knew what I knew now, I would have started on minimum advanced, because on advanced you can become a manager. Cost you $535, but you get 6 sleeves of X39. So your 6th sleeve is already at a huge discount. If you're a serious entrepreneur, you come in on premium. Premium means you don't have to purchase anything for 3 months to keep your volume. It costs you $1,750, so that's $87.50 a sleeve. My local pharmacy signed up in my downline. They came in on core. They came in with IceWave and Eon to use in their clinic on patients. The pharmacist was incredibly skeptical. It's 2 years later. They're still patching patients. It's so successful that they've employed a second nursing sister who knows all about patching. They have queues every day of people who are wanting to be patched. And in her first week, she phoned me every single day to tell me the incredible stories coming out of the clinic. And they upgraded from core to premium in the first week because they knew that they didn't have enough product and that they needed to have product. So the results really have been amazing. So if somebody sells like the pharmacy, they have to sell at retail and they have to sell at the company's recommended retail price. It's an agreement they sign with the company. So if you sign up as a brand partner, that's what you have to do. So that means that anybody who signs up under you is going to get it cheaper from you than they are by, for example, going to the pharmacy to buy their product. And medical aid is not going to pay for it. So they're going to be paying for it themselves. Then what about the importance of being on a subscription? If you had a florist shop, you would have to sell flowers to make money. So with LifeWave, we obviously have to buy patches. Until you're a manager, you only need 1 sleeve of patches a month to stay active. 1 sleeve, 30 patches. That's what you need to use for yourself. So the company's not expecting you to do ridiculous things. And then once you're a manager, you need 2 sleeves a month to stay active. So for me, that's really easy. It's myself and my husband. And then we have our patches. So Mich spoke to you about this is at info.com. That is where you find all the product information. We have another site called thisisateam.com. That is where you will find all the information on how to build the business. So thisisateam.com has webinars on how the compensation plan works. the best way to talk to people, scripts for talking to people, how you sign up a brand partner, how you sign up a customer, how you set up your e-wallet. Everything you need to build your business is there. So if you were buying a franchise of some sort, you would be given material to run your franchise and you would have to go through it yourself. Exactly the same with LifeWave. Think about LifeWave as buying a franchise, but you're only paying for your product. Because as soon as you purchase, you get your own website and you have your own business and you're ready to go and send out links to other people and start building. So it really is a phenomenal business for a very low buy-in fee. And if you look at it as a business, when you're making money, you're paying for your own product, and the more money you make, the more people you're helping. I think that's the way we need to look at LifeWave. And the results we see every day are unbelievable. I mean, we often want to cry because of the results we see. So the time is now to make your move. Are you serious about your dream? There is hope for your future, and it really is just about getting started with X39 because it is the most miraculous product. So thanks, Mich, for presenting with me this evening. And it's always so nice to present with you. Thank you, Jenny and Sune for your testimonies. And I hope everybody has a wonderful evening.